Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Simon, welcome to the channel. Episode 13, Unlucky for Some. The Evil Thai Witch. And as I've said before on this story, it's a true story. And some people have said, where have you got your information? Mem used to work with Joy, Errol, and the other guys with the other tribe girls and the tribe themselves. We had many interactions with them over the years, and a lot of the information, the little bits of information, have come back through different sources from Joy directly, Joy to the tribe, Joy to the other girls. And Thai girls like to talk. They like to, this type of Thai girl, Joy, likes to boast when she's successfully won something or made some money or done something great in life. A little bit of building noise in the background, but I just can't get away from it. She used to brag about stuff. Now where we left it, Joy had gone round to Errol's, she'd hit him, police had come, Errol didn't nail her into the coffin. She got away with it. Now she's speaking through her lawyer to Errol's lawyer. Joy's lawyer says to Joy, we've got to start looking at what divorce we're going to do, how we're going to cite him for divorce, and you've got to decide whether he cheated on you, whether he beat you, whether it's amicable, whether it was mental torture. Whatever reason, we need to come up with a reason and start the divorce. Joy says she wants to have a think about it for a week, and she winks at this lawyer. She says, I've got an idea. And this bent lawyer, okay. Joy heads off. She goes off and sees that guy, the one she's been sleeping with and who's been giving her a bit of money as well. She has a play about with him for a few days. Kids are okay, they're at childminders, they're all good, and she concocts an evil plan. She goes to the tribe and she chats to some of the girls there, and she says she is going to get her divorce and try and get even more money out of him than maybe she deserves. So, okay, how on earth is she going to do that? A lot of those girls on the tribe, they go out at weekends, they go to the nightclub, they sleep around, sometimes they just get drunk, just have fun. Whether they do any sort of drugs, I don't know, but they're all off out on the Friday night to a nightclub. Joy doesn't normally go, but she is concocting her latest evil twist. This is only less than a week since she hit Errol. Off she goes to the nightclub. Everyone's having fun, and about 1 o'clock in the morning she's chatting to some guys. Guys are chatting her up. She's still reasonably looking Thai girl and young, and out of the blue she's chatting to one guy who has got a girlfriend, and this is a English girlfriend. And for some reason Joy starts poking at this girl and indicating that she likes this girl's boyfriend, and things just suddenly explode. Before you know it, Joy and this girl are fighting, and it's as if Joy wants this girl to hit her, and this girl does. She gives her a good kicking, at which point all the bouncers come in and stop it, and they throw all the people involved out. Joy's got a cut on her face, she's gonna have a black eye, she's got a nosebleed, she's taking selfies, and the other Thai girls came out And she's like, take photos of me. And they're like, what are you going to do? Are you going to sue that girl? She goes, no, no, no. And smiled at them. And headed off. You know what she's up to. She gets home, and the next day in the morning she rings Errol. She says, Errol, I've got a problem with the kids. I need you to have them for today. I'm stuck. And Errol, as a good father, said, okay. Can you bring them here? She says, no. Can you come and collect them? You've got my address. And he says, okay. He went round, knocked on the door. She opened the door, maybe sideways, so he came through the door. She closed the door, and she starts an argument with him. And he looks at her face, and she's bruised and battered. And he's like, what's happening? Obviously on the defensive. And she starts yelling at him for being a terrible husband and father. Tells him to get out. And he's like, what? You wanted me to come and get the kids? What's going on? She says, get out or I'm ringing the police. He says, what? I haven't done nothing. Out he just like, what? And out he goes. What's she do? Sure, this is fraud. She rings the police. Says her husband, soon to be ex-husband, has come round and battered her. I told you she was evil. I told you. And we heard this from many different sources, because over the years she bragged about this a lot. Police turned up, and there she is, bruised. But the photo she took from the night before, why would she do that? Because they were at night time. I couldn't work that out, but anyway, maybe that comes into the story later. She tells them that he'd just come round demanding to see his kids, and they got into an argument, and he hit her, knocked her about in her own home, and that she wanted to press charges. No witnesses, no cameras, nothing. His word against hers. The police had seen her a week before. So if any of those police were the same ones, they saw his face battered, now they're seeing hers, they'd still think something's going on. The police have to respond. Here's a woman in her own home who's been beaten by a man, ex-husband, husband to be ex-husband. They have to arrest him. The police, walkie-talkie, whatever, radio, tell base what's happened. They've got the address, she's confirmed where he is, and that for police to go and arrest him. That's what happens. They go off, he's at home, police turn up. They turn up at his house, he opens the door, and they arrest him. And he's like, what? Why arrest him in all? You can imagine what he said. He's done nothing. They take him off to the police station. Joy has to go to the police station. She says she doesn't want to go to the hospital. It's, you know, surely they'd have seen it's not brand new. Cuts and bruises, it would just be bruises. Doesn't make sense. They wouldn't have spotted that. If they'd got out of her phone and seen photos from her night time, I'd have thought she'd have used it that he came the night before, or she'd have done it at night when she got home. Is that a mistake? She goes to the police station. They don't put them face to face. Take her statement, take his statement, and from what I can make out, the police believe her. They don't believe him, even though he's still got a few bruises from the week before. Police talk to police and they realise that some of the police have been there last week, and they sort of, what's going on? Anyway, they just looking at her fresh bruises, and they say to her, right, we've got a statement from what you've said, it all adds up. Do you want to press charges? At this point she says, I need my lawyer. I need to speak to my lawyer first before I decide on this. And they said, okay, no problem at all. We'll keep him here. She says, can I go and see my lawyer and come back with my lawyer? He said, well, okay, but we can only hold him for so long unless you press charges. She said, I'll only be a few hours and I'll come back. And okay. And they threw him in a cell. She's gone off to the lawyer. He's agreed to see her. She's gone in and she's told him what she did. And the lawyer's, good job he's bent. He's like, why did you do that? She said, well, you told me the best way of getting money is if he's done something bad to me. And he's like, well, okay. She told him how she did it with the nightclub, the fight. And she said, I just came up with it. And now he's in the police station in a cell, and they want me to decide to press charges. And the lawyer says, okay, well, he'll be getting hold of his lawyer now, and that lawyer will be on the way to the police station. What we'll do, we'll go back to the police station. How about if we get him and his lawyer to agree to an amicable divorce, as in 50-50 split, like we spoke before, a 50-50 split of everything. Keep your car, you keep your bit of money, keeps his car, keeps his furniture, sell the house, and his money in the bank, he can have what you've got, the 7, 8, 9,000, but everything above that you get half. And she said, that's fine. He said, and if we can get them to agree to that, you won't press charges and won't divorce him for hitting you. And she said, great. So he said, I'm going to ring the lawyers first, check if they're on their way. And he rings that other law company, and they've said yes, the lawyer's on the way to that police station. So they head back to the police station. The lawyer does his stuff with the police, tells them about this, wants a meeting with the other lawyer in private. That other lawyer's there and spoke to Errol. And the other lawyers agreed to speak to her lawyer. The other lawyer came straight out with it and said, this is a trap, your client has set all this up, and he said we can do all these things and fight this. But Joy's lawyer just turns around and said, this is your choice, this is your offer, we're only going to give you 30 minutes to make your choice, otherwise we're proceeding. And they tell the lawyer the deal. Because there's no witnesses, because it's inside Joy's house and she has physical bruises, it is always going to be him against her, his say and her say. It could go either way if it went to court and went in front of a jury or something. That other posh lawyer knew this, and really knew that Errol, if they arrested him and prosecuted him for hitting her and put that in the divorce, he could actually lose, he'll still lose half the house, but he could have lost a bit more and could end up compensation for hitting her, so-called hitting her. His lawyer went back to Errol, talked to Errol, told Errol the situation. Errol couldn't believe it. He's like, why would you do this to me? And his lawyer said, you can't disprove what she said. There's no way of proving that she, you didn't hit her. And Errol said, but she hit me last week. And the lawyer said, you didn't contact me, and you can't now say she hit you last week. She's got you by the nuts. You're going to have to agree to this, or you're going to have to go for a big fight. And explains to Errol everything. It's really going to be down to your character, whether this is about money or you want to get her back and drag her through everything. and your kids. Errol eventually, he's not that daft, but he's daft in some ways. He understands, and he says to his lawyer, I'm going to lose my house. And the lawyer said, yeah, you're going to lose half your house, unless you can borrow money to buy her out of the house. And he's like, okay, maybe we can do this, maybe I can get a mortgage or whatever, but I don't want to lose my house. And then he said, I want to see my kids. And Errol's lawyer said, okay, if we can get a deal that you get 2 days a week, every week, maybe it's weekends or whatever, let's work out shift patterns and all that sort of stuff, let's throw this in the deal, and if they agree all this, then it'll all be pretty straightforward from here on in. And Errol went, okay, let's do it. Lawyers talk about the kids. Joy agrees, in principle, but wants it all in black and white when the kids are going to be with him, and it's going to be fixed days every week. His job allows that, so it just means he's going to have to take the kids train spotting with him. Now, do you believe me when I say she's evil? She drops the charges, the lawyers agree everything, they put something in writing already between them, and Errol's free to go. As he walks out with his lawyer, he sees her, he doesn't speak to her, he walks straight past her, and he just keeps going. And he totally ignores her. Surprised he didn't have a pop at her. That was pepper, by the way, and this one's salt. There you go. Siamese kittens. Don't swear at me. And he leaves the police station. Pretty straightforward now. She's won. She's managed to keep her car, keep that extra hidden money that she bought gold with, and he hasn't even, Errol's not even looked at all the financials, the lawyer's just done it. I'm sure that's going to be spotted at some point. And Joy's lawyer said, you're absolutely brilliant, that was a master plan, I can't believe you did it, you've won, everything's going to be easy now, and it will only take a few months, but you really can't see him anymore, talk to him anymore, Errol, and you've got to we've got to sort the kids out so they're picked up by somebody else or dropped off by some way. We've got to fix that so you guys don't come face to face and he can't play any tricks on you, and then this can go forward. Brilliant. Let's leave it there. That's sort of a conclusion, no real cliffhanger. And what would you have done? Would you have told the police she hit you? Would you not? I don't know. That's a real tricky one. Love is blind. Is she special? Evil bitch. Excuse my language. Witch. See you next time. Bye bye.